My name is Chloe Hiller, and I'm Miss North Phoenix Teen USA. And today is the very first episode of my brand new talk show, all the way from Tucson, Arizona. And today on the show, we have Kimmy. Round of applause, everybody. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Say your first, last name, and maybe probably an interesting fact about yourself.
Oh, interesting fact. Okay. Hey, Chloe. And hey, everyone as well. As Chloe said, my name is Kem. I'm from the UK. I've lived in like 4 continents now. Maybe that's an interesting fact. Yeah, so this is the 4th continent that I'm living in. Yeah.
What's been your favorite continent that you've lived on? Which is so cool.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't been here too long, so I'm not going to count this one. So out of the 3, I'd probably say Australia.
Wow. I've only seen pictures of Australia. One day I will make the trip, but that flight is so long. I couldn't even imagine.
Right. It's a really beautiful place. So I definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Let's get down into the good stuff. So just a starter question, what's your business and what do you do for a living and some stuff you do in your free time?
Business-wise, I am a visual content creator and also a social media manager. So I edit videos a lot of the time and edit photos and stuff like that. I will also create videos from scratch also, but at the moment I'm mostly in editing and social media curation. Um, and in terms of things that are close to me, I really enjoy sharing life through my lens. So what I do for business is definitely close to home because I'm a very visual person. I love creating visuals, sharing visual, and that may come through the form of film, photography. I say film, video at the moment, photography, and also like painting and poetry as well sometimes.
Yeah. What are some of the effects that social media has had on you? And I know we've talked about the distractions social media sometimes can have on ourselves and especially the new generation, but what is some things that you do to like separate yourself and make sure you're level-headed? Because I know mental health is super important, of course, these days too, but what are some things that you do to separate yourself from that when things get a little crazy?
I really think social media is a tool, right? It's something that it's kind of become its own beast in a sense.
Absolutely.
Instagram was such a visual platform, and as someone who's visual and really enjoys that type of content, it was a space for me to just share that, again, that lens, how I see the world. And that's how it started out. People used to share holiday photos, or it was casual as heck, right? And over the years, it's again a tool. It's become a space where businesses host themselves, or I even launched, where people are doing e-commerce and so many different things online. And I think what we really need to remember is that people are sharing highlights of their life. And it's such a corny thing to say, but it's so true. Everything that we see on social media is curated. What we have to do, I truly believe, is take a stance of knowing that you have the power over this thing. It wasn't always there. It came into being after you did. It grew into being what it was. You have power, not some algorithm showing you everything that it wants you to see.
Absolutely. It's always mind-boggling to me that we have to double, triple check something to make sure that it's actually real and not like a fake or a photoshopped or video shopped thing.
So that's one side of it, is remembering that it's not an accurate representation of life. And the other side of it, in terms of the mental health and well-being as well, is making sure that you're taking breaks. Like, this should not be the first thing. It's like, to me, going on Instagram first thing in the morning is like, people say you don't drink before a certain time in the day,
Mhm.
you don't put the TV on before, like, I would never wake up and have a glass of wine or wake up and dive straight into the news. So
Right,
why am I going to wake up and go straight onto
right,
Instagram? Like,
right.
it's not healthy. The
Never.
first thing that you put into your mind, body, spirit in the day should be something that nurtures you, something that is based in truth and reality.
Mhm.
Um, and that quiet, the first hour and the last hour of the day are so important for your unconscious mind, for your well-being, that it should be something healthful and that's giving to
Right.
you.
I'm trying to master the art of turning my phone on, like, a certain setting to where,
Mhm,
like, I don't see notifications and it's only, like, certain people can text me,
mhm,
and I've deleted, like, off my actual, phone, like, my home screen, I've deleted TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram
mhm,
and Twitter off there, but it's just off my home screen, so, like, it's still
mhm.
there. I have to put in the effort to search it up, and so it
Yeah,
makes me think about, like, "Am I really about to go search
right.
this up and really about to do this?" So I've been trying to separate myself from that, but I do enjoy your perspective too because I know, like, our generation, like, seriously, like, for as long as I can remember, like, all of us have had iPads and iPhones. Like, I got my very first phone in the 5th grade, like, I
Mhm,
was 9 years old, texting my mom off a little one of those green iPhone, 5Cs with the plastic
mhm,
back, and
mhm.
everybody was just like from there on, like, as soon as everybody got a phone, everything just turned so different. Everybody got computers and MacBooks and AirPods, and it was just a whole, like, as soon as it started,
Yeah.
it started. The wave was huge. In what ways have you followed your personal goals and your dreams and really identified your strengths to get where you are today?
It's definitely been a more internal process for me. It's been a process of overcoming mental health barriers, emotional health, and making sure that that was straight. So I went on like a kind of eat, pray, love journey, a walkabout. I went and traveled. I took a gap year after university. That's when I first ended up in Australia and Southeast Asia. And I really wanted to find out what stayed the same about me when everything else around me changed. So I really had to take some time to understand what I actually wanted. So that was the first thing for me. So there was a lot of inward and outward exploration. Um, and in terms of goals, uh, wow, that's a big question in terms of goals. But um, I've come to a space of understanding that goals are like stars in the sky. They're like coordinates, right? They help you to plan your journey, to see where you want to go. But if you're only looking at the star, if you're only focused on those coordinates, you miss the journey. And I had always heard of that saying, life is about the journey,
Mhm.
but there was so much of it that I wasn't really feeling. I was believing it, but wasn't really feeling it, until I heard Jim Rohn say, become a millionaire, not for the $1 million, but for what it will make of you to achieve it.
What do you wish you would have known before setting out on the path that you're on now?
What I wish I had known is that my value as a human has nothing to do with things in this material world. And that regardless of how many times I try and fail, that I'll be loved either way, that I can mess up and I'll still be loved. It's better to try and fail than to not have tried and always be wondering, what was I capable of? What could I have done?
Yeah. Do you think having a goal is truly helpful in motivating a person or having like basically a goal, an end goal, or like something you want to achieve, not just like a materialistic thing, but
Mhm.
a mental or maybe even a spiritual goal for themselves?
Goals are necessary, but in terms of motivation, I think systems are much more motivating than goals. For me, if you have systems in place, these things that you do every day and they become habits. So you have these systems in place and eventually you get to your goal without having spent every single waking moment thinking just about the goal.
I've known I've wanted to pursue my degree in journalism and want to be a part of the news and be an editor. And
Hmm.
then like I've been so certain, like ever since I could remember, like I know I was in the 5th grade being like, yeah, well, journalism, broadcast journalism. And then of course when I get here and then I actually start having to do work, I'm like, but what if there's something else? And that's so horrifying for me because I know that I'm a person that plans out a lot of my things. And
Hmm.
it makes me feel uncomfortable when the unknown, like I prepare myself for the more known things. So when the unknown comes about and comes and abruptly changes things, I can be prepared. Being here without my team of really important people, especially like my parents, my mom, it's been a
Hmm.
lot on me because obviously I'm close with my mom. We're like this. And so
Hmm.
driving down here and like not being able to just go downstairs and be like, hey, so here's what happened in the pageant world today has been really taxing too. But I honestly think it's been a really I've loved my first year here, and I'm excited to see what other goals that I will
Hmm.
continue to
Yeah.
achieve and be awesome.
When it comes to thinking, what if there's something else?
Mhm.
This is a question that will come up so much in your life across
Every subject.
every subject matter in your life, right? Like this just happens and it will continue to happen. And something that I've really realized in that space is a lot of the times when we ask ourselves, oh, what if it's something else? We're running away from something. Maybe there's an uncomfortable feeling. Maybe something feels hard. Maybe we're running away from the fear of what if,
Mhm.
right? And so for me, what I've really come to recognize is two things. One is that there's going to be time to create change. And the other thing is to learn to master your mind, be the master, not let your mind run you. You know, like Instagram, our minds are tools, right? So we get to live from a space of equanimity.
I have like these moments where I'm like, oh my God, I'm in college right now. And then I just go back
Yes,
to doing my work. Like I
yes,
was so stressed out before like the first day because I'm like, how am I supposed to do college work? Like, what are we
right.
supposed to do for this? Like, what are we? And there's so many unanswered questions because obviously professors are like, just come to the class, you'll be
Yeah,
fine. But the
yeah.
internal thought and the stress and the scariness of having to go do something obviously that you've never done before is just so getting over that little
Mhm,
getting over that hump and jumping over
mhm.
that cliff is just a lot for people, including myself. What can you do now that will be successful for your future?
Firstly, you have to be clear about what success means to you. Don't buy into other people's narratives of success. Create your own, have your own, and be sure, be really, really clear about what it is that you want and why. Take stock of everything in your life.
Right.
You know, does it serve a purpose in your life? What purpose is it serving in your life? And then make that plan, make that 5-year plan, work it backwards. Because to me, when I think about success, I'm thinking about, okay, that's my future goal, but how can I be successful today?
Mhm.
Right? I don't want success to be something that is just looming in the future. It's just a future intangible thing.
Right.
What things can I do to have a successful day? The last thing that I would say is that make sure that you're giving to yourself first. So, again, weaving in that social media element, when you're waking up, what are your morning rituals? You know, have a morning routine, have an evening routine. Get to a space where you're waking up, getting yourself into a great state of mind and of being. And from that place, you're giving yourself a launch pad. You're giving yourself the energy, the clarity of mind, the calmness that you need to have that successful day.
But
Yeah.
thank you so much for having the time to be able to come and be the very first person on my talk show. I truly appreciate it. I love
Thank
everything we
you.
talked about. And of course, and I love you as a person. So thank you so, 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 so much.
Thank you for having me on. And I look forward to this growing. And
Okay.
yeah, thank you for creating this platform for people to
Yeah,
share.
absolutely. Anytime. All right.
Mhm.
Well, bye, guys.